Hey classmates, this is Tiana.
Hey guys, this is Brett. Welcome back to week 13 of Hard Lessons.
Sweet.
13 weeks. Maybe this will be our lucky one.
Maybe so. What does lucky mean? Like, what do you want to get out of it?
Whatever we get. Lucky's usually a unlucky number. 13 is usually an unlucky number. And so maybe we'll make it lucky.
Maybe so.
Yeah. So Teach, how was your week?
It was good. It was good as usual.
Yay.
I took Friday off. Got some personal things done.
Nice.
So the week went by really fast. So yeah, and there's only 10 school days till Thanksgiving.
Yeah, or as we call it in my line of work, Hell Week.
Oh, see, our Hell Week is the week after a holiday.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Come back all stressed and rushed?
No, the kids come back all crazy and lacking common sense.
They lost it all in that week.
Yes. So basically it's a reset for all of the things that you've tried to implement.
Yeah. See, I love Thanksgiving. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge Christmas guy. But I don't like the weeks leading up, the week of Thanksgiving or the week of Christmas, because we have 3 days to do 5 days worth of work. And it's so stressed and rushed. I don't like it. I like the holidays, just don't like the days leading up to it.
See, I would just be like, psh, if it gets done, it gets done. People are too conditioned to receive things immediately.
I want what I want when I want it.
Yeah, I'm supposed to get my trash done every Tuesday, so why is it not happening?
We have actually had people call in that my trash gets dumped every Thursday at 2 o'clock, and here it is, 3:30, and it hasn't been dumped yet. Like, come on.
And people don't. Yeah, I just have issues with people.
Mm-hmm. Well, you ready to get started?
Yep. All right, class begins.
All right, the more you know.
The less you need.
Bam. A shrimp's heart.
They have hearts?
Is in its head. They also have an open circulatory system, so they don't have any arteries. So their organs are just floating around in their blood.
Ew.
Yeah. That's
I
crazy.
don't like to think about eating that now. I'm eating their brains and their heart and their little bitty veins.
They don't have veins, so you're not eating their veins.
That's right.
Yeah.
They are good fried, though, and with coconut. So,
Goodness. The good outweighs the bad.
Right.
All right. So this week, Teach, we are doing our very first survivor story.
Sweet.
And I'm going to go ahead and name this lady the queen of all survivors.
Okay.
All right. So let me introduce you to Juliane Koepcke.
Juliane Koepcke.
Koepcke. Koepcke. Koepcke.
Koepcke. Okay.
Have you ever heard of her?
No.
Awesome. I get to teach you something.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe how to be a badass bitch.
Maybe so.
Yeah. I said a bad word. Didn't mean to.
Badass survivor.
There you go. That's really what I should have said. Now I feel like really guilty.
Well, don't. You're good. You're good, because this lady... Well, let's just get into it.
Okay.
All right. Juliane Margaret Koepcke was born on October 10th, 1954.
Okay.
She is the daughter of Hans Wilhelm and Maria Koepcke. Hans is a German zoologist, was a German zoologist, and Maria was also a zoologist. She studied tropical birds.
Okay, so the mom was a tropical bird scientist person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And her dad, just a general zoologist.
Okay. When you say zoologist, I always think they work in zoos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Because, the word zoo.
Love animals.
Ooh.
They set up a biological research station in the Peruvian rainforest called Panguana.
Penguana.
Yeah.
Sounds beautiful, but it probably was not.
Oh, well, for excuse me, for a while it was.
Okay.
And actually, Juliane loved growing up here. She called herself a jungle child.
Oh my gosh, like a Tarzan.
Like a Tarzan, exactly.
Minus the bugs.
In a BBC interview in 2012, she said, I learned a lot about life in the rainforest. It wasn't too dangerous. Excuse me. It was not the green hell that most of the world considered it to be. Again, that was from a BBC interview in 2012. She was homeschooled at Paguana for several years, but she finished out her general education in the Peruvian capital of Lima, which was a couple hours away from Paguana.
Nice.
In December of 1971, her dad couldn't leave Paguana, but her mom flew to Lima to watch her daughter graduate high school.
Sweet.
And they were going to fly back home to be with Dad for Christmas. Maria wanted to fly out early, like around the 20th, 21st, right after graduation. But Juliana, being a typical teen, buffed at that notion. She wanted to stay, and because they were going to have a big party and dance.
Yeah.
After graduation, so Mom gave in, and they were going to fly out Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And so they did. The dad didn't want them to fly out. He said, even if you have to wait till after Christmas to come home, he wasn't real happy with the airline that they were going to have to fly out on.
Oh, okay.
It was a Lanza Flight 508. It was a turboprop airliner that could carry up to 99 people. Hans knew that the plane had a bad reputation. Of the 170 planes that was built, 58 of them were written off after they crashed or had mid-air malfunctions.
Oh.
So Hans was like, yeah.
I would rather you wait. Oh,
Yeah.
Did he tell them this?
Yes.
Uh-oh, I think I have an idea what happened.
So he actually begged them, please do not take this flight. But being so close to Christmas and them wanting to be with Hans on Christmas Day, they booked the flight.
See,
Sometimes Father does know best.
yes.
Initially, the flight seemed like any other.
Okay, so she went to her party and they flew out when?
Christmas Eve, 1971.
Okay.
Initially, the flight seemed like any other. There was no issues. It was only it was less than a 2-hour flight. They sat on the second row from the back. Juliana sat by the window and Maria in the middle seat next to her. They ate sandwiches. They watched the rainforest below. It was just
Nice.
a nice day. Yeah. However,
dun.
dun.
Hey, there was some foreshadowing happening when Hans was telling them about the bad juju about that flight.
Exactly.
Or that airline.
15 minutes before they were to land
Oh my gosh.
at Pucallpa for a layover, the sky turned black. I mean, they're in the rainforest.
Well, yeah, it's going to rain.
It's going to rain. Juliane wrote a book. I'm not going to give the name up of it right now because I'll give things away.
Okay.
But in her book, she is quoted as saying, "Daylight turns to night and lightning flashes from all direction. People gasp as the plane starts to shake violently."
Well, they're in the middle of a lightning storm, and just the energy from the lightning, duh.
Exactly. She remembers seeing a huge flash of white light over the plane's wings. This sent the plane into a tailspin.
Oh no, it got struck. Oh.
It got struck by lightning right on the engine. Another quote from her book says, "Bags, gifts, clothing fell from overhead lockers. People were screaming and crying." She was also quoted in her book. That's a quote from her book, but also she was quoted in her book. The last thing she remembers hearing her mom say, "I hope this goes all right."
Oh no.
The screams of other passengers and the roar of the engine vanished. She is like kind of going from unconscious to conscious, back and forth. And then she remembers thinking, "I didn't leave the plane left me." So she's free falling from the plane.
Oh my gosh, this is terrifying. Oh my gosh.
Her last thought before she passed out the last time, the trees in the dense Peruvian rainforest look like heads of broccoli.
Well, there you go. That's a positive type of note.
Exactly. She fell over 3,000 meters. Now, for us in America, how far is 3,000 meters?
Yes, thank you for converting that.
Just under 2 miles.
Yikes.
Can you imagine free falling for 2 miles?
No. At least she was in her seat, right?
She was in her seat still, yes. Juliane then woke up. Dazed.
While she was falling?
No.
After. Okay.
The jungle canopy was now above her.
Okay.
Dazed and confused, she spent the next day
In and out of consciousness?
in and out of consciousness, still seatbelted to her seat.
Oh, okay.
She wakes up. It is Christmas Day in 1971. Of course, she doesn't know what day it is, but she wakes up. It's Christmas Day 1971. Seemingly, she thinks just minor injuries. She's got cuts all over her, bruises all over her. Later find out she did have a broken collarbone.
Yikes.
And a concussion.
Well, duh.
2-mile free fall from an airplane, and that's your injuries.
That's not bad.
That
I mean,
isn't bad.
considering, could have had some limbs ripped off and
Exactly.
gash on the head.
She's wearing only a sleeveless mini dress and one sandal.
Uh-oh.
Juliana's survival story, though, is just beginning.
Oh my gosh.
The Peruvian jungle was filled with venomous snakes, mosquitoes, spiders, and there was over 3 million different species of ants alone.
Nope.
There's all kinds of creepy
When
critters.
when you said spiders, I'm out.
I know you love some spiders.
I'm like, woo! But she had grown up in this jungle, so she knew what to look for and what to stay away from and what would be friendly and foes. So this is a bonus for her in this situation.
You are looking into that foreshadowing. Exactly. That was one of her keys. She's now going to have to find her way out of this jungle.
Well, yeah, she's got to figure out where she's at first. Mm-hmm. And then...
How big was this jungle?
Oh, my gosh.
Over 2 million acres. Big.
Yikes.
Yeah. So she leans back into her jungle child mentality.
Oh, okay, I was like, her seat? What?
Yeah. I learned about a lot about life in the rainforest. It isn't the green hell that the world thinks. So I wrote that quote down twice. It really stuck with me.
I imagine it can be a very beautiful place where, if you know what to look for, you can survive anything.
Exactly. She identified the sounds of wildlife that she remembered growing up in Panguana, such as the croaking frogs and bird calls. This meant that she was in the same jungle. However, like I just said, this jungle's 2 million acres.
No doubt. Familiar and yet could be hundreds of miles away from home. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. She remembered her dad telling her that if she ever did get lost in the jungle, to use rivers as a highway.
Okay. Good thinking.
If you find a river, it will eventually lead to a village.
That's true.
So she finds a river. Now,
okay, so she gets out of her seat. How did she get out of her seat? Was it up in the air?
It was stuck in a tree. So yeah, she unbuckled and
she was able to climb out of the seat and down the tree. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she wasn't far up in the tree, but it was still stuck. She had a distance to go to before she got to the ground.
Okay, because I'm picturing. Okay, so she has to get out. So is it like what you see in the movies where they unbuckle and they just free fall?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't see anything about how she if she jumped down, if she fell, she climbed.
Okay.
I'm assuming, and I know we're not supposed to assume, but I'm assuming with the broken collarbone, she had a hard time climbing.
Yeah.
So she probably just jumped and fell.
You're conjecturing.
I am conjecturing. She also leans back onto her father's teachings of her, or to her, that piranhas were only dangerous in the shallow ends of the water. So she would get in the middle of the river.
Smart.
Sometimes she would swim. Sometimes she'd float. A lot of times she'd get out and walk along the river's edge.
Okay.
However, unfortunately, the jungle was in the middle of wet season.
Lots of rain.
She was unable to light a fire to stay warm.
Oh, no.
She was wet and cold and no shelter.
Yep.
Also unsure what fruit growing in the jungle was poisonous. She survived on some candy that she had bought for the kids back at Penquana for a Christmas gift. And later on, we'll find out what else she survived on.
Okay, so she must have had this candy with her, like maybe a bag was attached to her.
Right.
Okay.
So we're going to fast forward just a little bit to the 4th day of her trying to find help.
Holy cow. She was like...
Oh, she's nowhere near found help yet, but yeah.
I think I saw this thing on, what was it, Netflix or something?
There's been several documentaries.
Ooh, I think this is on Netflix, where like it was a 14-day survival thing or something.
Maybe.
Okay.
So on the 4th day, she got frightened by the call of king vultures.
Ooh, that's like dead people eaters.
They only circle when something has died. That was my very next bullet.
Oh my gosh, were they circling her? Could you see them? Like they just waiting.
She couldn't see them, but she could hear them.
Oh my gosh, they were eating the people. Oh!
So she goes towards the sound of the birds.
It's not smart.
And she finds 3 dead passengers from the airplane.
Oh.
That didn't get stuck in the tree, went all the way to the ground.
Oh no.
Head first.
Oh, gross.
And hit with such force
Ew.
that they were buried up to their knees into the ground. Only from their knees down was sticking up.
Oh, man. That's terrible.
Yes, ma'am.
That's like nightmares right there.
Very much so. She could tell that one of the passengers was a female
Okay.
who had on
No.
almost the same shoes as her mom.
Oh no.
So she was like, well, I got to know. And also think, this girl was only 17. I was trying to think what I was doing Christmas when I was 17, and it wasn't trying to survive in a jungle.
No.
So she walks up, takes the shoes off this lady to examine the feet, and immediately realizes this is not her mom.
Oh.
And the only way she could tell, her mom never painted her toes, and this lady had polish on her toes.
Oh my gosh. Could she take the shoes?
It didn't say if she did or not.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, though, she starts to hear search planes flying overhead. However, that's all she can do is hear them. She can't see them. They can't see her because of the thick canopy of the rainforest.
Not to be like, no duh.
Yeah.
But maybe they were just looking for a color or the actual plane.
Exactly. They were searching for anything. Wreckage.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking, because I'm like, if you it's so thick you wouldn't be able to see to the bottom. Mm-hmm. And you can't light a fire because you ain't got nothing. Oh
Plus,
my
it's
gosh.
wet season.
Oh,
the fire wouldn't stay lit.
Maybe they should have been looking for the birds.
They couldn't see them either because of
Yeah, they're flying. They fly below the little treetops.
the canopies. By this time, she was sunburned, weak, and starving.
Go figure.
Yeah. So she did, on those passengers that she found that had
Passed away.
half buried in the ground, some more Christmas candy. So she gathered that up.
Okay.
And she's like,
It's something.
it's something. She did find some fruit growing on trees, but she also remembered her mom teaching her that some of the fruit had evolved and could turn poisonous to protect itself from being eaten.
Right.
So she was afraid to eat anything.
I'm with her on that one, because you don't never know.
Exactly. She also, this was amped up when she saw a monkey eating on a banana, and the monkey took one bite and threw it to the ground.
Oh, so
she's
it
like,
knew. Oh, smart thinking girl. Poor monkey. I hope it didn't die.
it's probably dead now.
Well, probably.
But it took one bite. It might have had the poops.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I bet yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay.
So now we're gonna fast forward. She's trudging along.
Okay, so that was day 4. Okay.
Now we're gonna trudge along to day 10.
Day 10. Oh gosh, poor girl. She's probably delirious, giving up hope.
She was ready to give up. She was quoted in her book as saying, "Ice cold drops pelt me, soaking my thin summer dress. The wind makes me shiver to the core. On those bleak nights, as I cower under a tree or inside a bush, I feel utterly abandoned and alone in the world."
Yeah. Because you don't know where you are. You're hurting. You're in pain. You're hungry. Your brain is searching for water, any nourishment to help it focus. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So on that 10th day, just as it started to turn night, she walks around this bend in the river, and I don't know why I'm doing that with my arm because only you can see me doing it. Yeah, it walks around a bend of the river.
You're giving me visuals.
There you go. She sees her first positive sight.
What is it? What is it? A person?
No.
Food.
No.
Okay. Clothes.
A small hut with a palm leaf roof.
Oh, praise Jesus. Okay, I wasn't going there, but that's even better.
At least she's got somewhere to be inside.
And can get warm. warm. Okay, good.
Well, it's an open air hut, but at least
but it has a roof,
it has
though.
has the palm leaf roof.
Exactly. You can still get in there and take a breath.
Exactly. She would later find out that hut belonged to 3 local tribesmen that would come once a month to do some fishing and gathering for the tribe.
Oh, see?
So
it's crazy to think that everybody on the planet has a purpose and that there's a plan for everything that happens in your life. We don't see it that way, but
there is.
Absolutely. That was she was meant to find that right at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Inside the hut, she found a can of
ravioli.
Petrol.
Okay.
What us in America would call gas.
Yes.
So,
okay, but why would you need gas if there's no way to... But she could light a fire, catch the hut on fire, and then burn down the whole jungle.
Well, what Juliane used the petrol for, and you're about to get grossed out again.
She cleaned herself? That would burn.
the cuts on her body.
Holy jeez.
You know, the jungle's full of all kinds of flies and mosquitoes and stuff.
But she cleaned herself.
The cuts were infected, and she was being eaten from the inside by maggots.
Oh, gross. Well, yeah, I mean, that would kill them.
And so she remembered her dad using petrol to pour on injured animals. And so she was like, it hurt.
Oh, my gosh.
Bad. The pain was intense.
Oh, but she killed it.
Because as she poured them on there, the maggots were trying to go deeper inside her.
Ew.
And so she knew then she was going to have to dig them out.
Oh, Lord.
So she had on this necklace with a pendant on it. She takes the necklace off.
Oh, she uses it to dig.
Kind of works the pendant around to make a hook out of it and uses it to dig the maggots out of her. She counted 33 maggots that she dug out of her.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, this poor girl.
Can you just imagine?
No. No, because what would even be sicker is that you just kept going, then all of a sudden you see these flies flying out you. I think I'd be like, oh my God.
Just amputate?
I'm disgusted. Oh, poor girl.
Just amputate. And I keep thinking back. She was 17. What was I doing Christmas Day when I was 17?
Griping because you didn't get what you wanted for Christmas?
Quite possibly.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's a selfish 17-year-old world.
Mm-hmm. And here she is surviving.
Mm-hmm. Why do I have to spend it with these people? They're old and boring. Why can't I be out having fun with my friends? But yet here I am.
Here I am.
Not stuck in a jungle digging out maggots to survive.
Living off of candy. Although I think our son, technical manager Sam, would appreciate, all I get to eat is candy?
Yeah.
That'd be the only thing that he'd be happy about.
Exactly.
Where am I supposed to plug in my PlayStation out here in the rainforest?
Exactly. So she digs them out. She counted 33 of them little suckers.
Uh-huh.
And she poured that in there?
And
that had to go down deep.
It had to go deep.
But you have to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. I remember this is day 10. She passes out.
Well, duh.
She wakes up the next morning.
And you got to think, that probably wasn't the only one that was infected.
Oh, no.
The ones that she could at least get to.
Exactly. The next morning, she wakes up to what she thinks is a hallucination. She can hear men talking.
Okay. Get out. Start hollering, man.
They were approaching the hut. At first, the Peruvian fishermen were frightened.
Because they saw this wild-looking person?
Yeah, there is a legend. But they were frightened at the sight of a blonde, skinny, dirty girl.
Because there was a legend?
They thought she was a local legend, a water goddess, which was a dolphin, half dolphin, half white-skinned blonde girl. She just happened to be blonde-headed.
Oh, no.
So they were frightened and started running away from her.
Oh, no.
Now, her parents had given her one last key to her survival. She knew the language of the jungle.
Praise these parents.
Absolutely. And tells them, I am a girl who was in the Lanza crash. My name is Juliane. We heard about that crash. I mean, I'm sure they didn't say it like that. Humba jumba dumba whatever. How they ever
was rude.
Well, no, I was going back to my Gilligan Island days and how the jungle people would talk. That's all that was there. No rudeness meant.
Okay. So apparently she started talking right away. So they wasn't like 400 yards away and she's trying to yell at them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So they give her what first aid they can right there. Like I said earlier, that hut, she found out later that hut, they only used it once a month. And it just happened to be, like you were saying earlier, things happen in line for a reason.
It's orchestrated to a T.
It just happened to be that time of the month to come do their grocery shopping.
Nice.
So they didn't have like a car or...
No, but they had to walk, but she has people to help now.
Well, they also had their canoe. So she didn't have to walk.
Oh, and they were nice.
Mm-hmm.
And canoed her. Not in a bad way. They transported her.
My very next bullet says I used the canoe to transport her to a more inhabited area. Inhabited
okay.
area. Not inhibited. We're not canoeing and inhibited and all in one sentence.
All in one survival story here.
That's right. They
canoed her. No, they
transported her. Boy, we're going to have to do a lot of editing on this episode.
No, never edit because it's all natural.
It's all natural. To a nearby village where they were able to airlift her. It didn't say the name of the town. I'm assuming it would be not Panguana where her parents did the research, but where they were flying to for the layover. Pacolpa. Yeah. At the Pacolpa.
I was making up words.
You did fine. So she was airlifted to a small nearby village.
I would be freaking out.
Get back on an airplane after what she just went through, but
would
apparently she was just like, let's go, let's do this.
Yeah.
And so this queen of survival, after she recovers, she returned to the jungle to assist in
The rescue?
locating the wreckage and help looking for bodies. And sadly, on January 12th of 1972, Maria, her mom,
was found.
Body was found.
Did she get to help recover her?
Yes.
Or did they leave her there?
No, they recovered her.
Okay.
They recovered her.
That helped her healing process, too.
It did. And so I never saw how long she was in the hospital, but the crash happened on December 24th. She was in the jungle for 11 days, so that would be about the 5th of January.
And then she was out helping on January 12th?
January 12th, so about a week she was in the hospital.
Yeah, they hydrated her and got her
some
the worms out. Whatever those
maggots.
They maggoted her.
Demagnetized. What do we call those in my line of work? Do you remember?
Crawling rice.
Walking rice.
Walking rice.
Yeah.
That's when you just walk over them and you squash them. Like the worms they are.
Exactly. There's some flies that won't be bugging us later.
You should be spraying some bug spray in the back of your truck.
Absolutely.
I would just refuse. I ain't going back there.
Maria has passed.
Yes.
Juliane often wondered, out of the 90 people that was on the plane, including the crew, how come I'm the only one that survived and her only theory that she can come up with is the updraft from the storm slowed her as she fell, and then the canopy of the trees cushioned her fall.
And it was orchestrated that she be the one that it happens to.
Exactly. Because they would find that initially there was 14 other passengers that survived the fall.
Yeah?
However, they didn't try to move the way Juliane did, and they all passed from their injuries.
Oh.
So she was the only survivor.
Okay, I got you. I understand.
Yeah, they survived the fall, but they just stayed there.
They didn't move because they just didn't know the jungle.
Exactly.
That's what us normal people would do. We would be like, that's a no. I'll just stay here. Maybe somebody will come get me.
I would be curled up in the fetal position. I'm not going to lie. I was not built for survival. I was built for comfort.
Well, if I knew what to eat, I'd be eating and surviving.
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if you could eat a piranha. Probably couldn't catch them, though. I mean,
That would be something that I probably should have Googled for this, but I don't know. I bet you could.
I bet you could too.
Take
And at
the
least
teeth
she
out.
wasn't hurting, and like bleeding or anything.
Right. It did say, I mean, she might have been bleeding from her cuts because she would tear strips off of her sundress
Yeah.
and use it as a tourniquet.
Okay.
So maybe she was doing some bleeding, but she used that to stop it.
Aren't piranhas attracted to hurt things, though, when they have not come found?
But they don't like the middle of the, so that's why she always stayed in the middle.
Okay,
of the
I
river.
got you. But she had to get out.
Well, she wouldn't take her time doing it.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. Cause of the crash was listed as an intentional decision by the airline to send the plane into hazardous weather conditions. So they knew
That storm was coming?
that storm was coming and was like, well, they've already bought the tickets. We don't want to give refunds. Let's send them out anyway.
Oh my gosh. I hope that company went down.
I hope so too, especially after this part. This is when I was making my notes and I was like, and he was like, what? And I was like, you'll find out on recording day.
Okay.
The aircraft that they were on, that very plane, was made entirely of spare parts from other planes. Everything on it.
Oh my freaking gosh.
Yeah.
I hope they went bankrupt, and that's terrible. Like, if that would have been here in the United States, of course they wouldn't be flying with all that kind of crap like that to begin with. But
Right.
that company would still be paying people off.
I mean, well, and back in the 70s, they probably would. Nowadays, yeah, no, that wouldn't happen. But back in the 70s, you never know.
Oh my gosh.
So it got me to thinking, is she the only person that has ever survived falling out of an airplane? She actually became a member of a small club of survivors that have fallen from airplanes
And
without
survived
parachutes.
oh my gosh.
There's dozens of people who have and walked away. Guinness Book of World Records actually has a listing for who has survived the furthest fall.
Okay. So she was like a mile and a half up.
Yeah, just under 2 miles.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like 1.889327, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
So it was almost 2 miles.
Yeah.
So the Guinness Book of World Record holder is a 23-year-old Serbian flight attendant named Vesna Veluvi.
Okay.
I hope I said the last name right. Vulovi. Veluvi. Vesna's pretty easy to say. It's her first name. I'll just stick with Vesna.
There you go.
She fell from the plane when, in 1972, so just a year after
This one.
Juliane, the flight that she was working on had a mid-air explosion. Vesna fell 9 kilometers. How far is 9 kilometers? 5.592 miles. So almost about 5.5 miles.
She didn't have a parachute?
She did not have a parachute. I mean,
What'd she land on?
well, good question. She fell into a thick snowbank in Czechoslovakia.
Oh, poor girl. But she survived.
She suffered a fractured skull, 2 broken legs, and a broken back. But she survived.
Okay, how was she found?
I didn't go into her.
Oh my gosh, she wouldn't be able to move.
Since this story was about Juliane, I just wanted to throw her in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Juliane today, if that was me, I would have given up. And been like,
you would have been appetizer for them vulture birds.
Be gentle.
Don't make it hurt.
Easy. She is a mammologist who specializes in bats, not breasts. I thought, mammologist, she does breast research? Mammalogists study mammals.
You're a booby man.
They study mammals. And so she specializes in bats.
I want one.
You want a bat?
Yes.
We'll see.
I could find one when we moved down to Kyle, like a lost baby bat or something, and nurse it back to health.
The caves?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
It's terrifying, but yes.
She went on to get her doctorate.
Nice.
And at Munich University. Okay. Went back to Germany, her parents' home country. In 1989, she married Eric Diller. So she is now Juliane Diller, Dr. Juliane Diller.
There you go. She earned that doctor.
That's right. Eric is a German entomologist who specializes in
bugs,
parasitic wasps.
Oh, gross. Weird people.
New fear for me because I never knew there was parasitic wasps. So I just figured.
Around here, you're going to have to look that one up.
I'll look that one up, baby.
Give everybody a new fear of a bug flying around.
Following the death of her father in 2000, Juliane took over as the director of Penguana.
Nice.
Followed in her mom and dad's footsteps.
That's awesome.
In her book, she is quoted as saying, "The jungle is as much a part of me as my love for my husband or the music of the people who live along the Amazon and its tributaries and the scars that remain from my plane crash." So I said I'd tell you the name of the book here in a little bit. I didn't want to give nothing away. It is called When I Fell from the Sky.
When I fell from the sky.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's good.
That is the story of Juliane Koepcke Diller.
That's right.
My bibliography this week is amp.abc.net.au. And so that ABC is not like our local here in the country. That is the Australian Broadcasting Corporation.
Right.
Story is called How Teenager Juliane Koepcke Survived a Plane Crash and Solo 11-Day Trek Out of the Amazon. Another website that is very cool, and I'm going to be going back to it a lot, allthat'sinteresting.com. The incredible story of Juliane Koepcke, the teenager who fell 10,000 feet out of a plane and survived. A little bit of information from wikipedia.com because, it's one of my favorites.
Okay, you get points deducted for using Wikipedia.
Well, honestly, all I looked up on that is her birthday and when the year her and Eric got married. That was all I looked up on that. But I wanted to list them because
because you got information from there.
Yes, ma'am. And a news article in nytimes.com, so newyorktimes.com. She fell nearly 2 miles and walked away. And lastly, bbc.com. Juliane Koepcke, How I Survived a Plane Crash. And that is Juliane Koepcke.
Good job. Good job.
I think that was kind of heavy research and stuff, so I kind of want to end with a former cop story of mine.
Okay.
So it was a Monday, and it was me and my patrol sergeant, Pickering, and our lieutenant, Love.
Okay.
And Pickering got called to a house on the south end of town.
Okay.
A neighbor called a welfare check, said he hadn't seen his neighbor in 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
And
that was unusual.
Unusual, yeah. Said she's always out working in the yard and stuff. So we 3 get there. We're knocking on the door. Nobody's answering. We're knocking on the back door. We're trying to look in the windows. Can't see anything. And finally, I believe her son lived in Abilene. He didn't live here in town. He was the only family member that she had. Finally get a hold of him, and he said, yes, if you need to, kick in the back door. He said, please kick in the door. He said, please do the back door. It'll be easier for you to get into. So we get around to the back, and our lieutenant gets all excited. He's like, guys, I haven't kicked in a door in 20 years. Let me kick this door in. All right, Lieutenant. And he says, okay, Pickering, you get here on this side of me. Watson, you get here on this side of me. So we're both standing on each side of him. We're like, what are you doing? He puts his arms on our shoulder to brace himself. He kicks the door, nothing. Kicks the door, nothing. And it's like a closet door. It's a thin door.
Oh, wow.
Lieutenant Love is not budging it. And so he goes, okay, I've loosened it. You go ahead, Watson. So I get up there, and I didn't even kick it as hard as I could. And it flew open. And I told you I loosened it for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was my funny little story.
Because the kicking in the door.
Yeah, that was the only funny part.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, she had passed. So.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. So she was a sweet lady from what everybody talked about her. Yeah. So it was just funny seeing the 40-year veteran trying to kick in a door and it not budging. So, all right. So what is my grade for this week, Teach?
I'm going to give you an A.
Yay.
Yeah. With the creepy crawlies and the people eating bird, and it was a good story. It was a good survivor story.
Thank you.
All right. So I chose paranormal.
Paranormal.
Yay.
All right. We'll get spooky for next week.
Sweet. I need some spookiness in my life.
Absolutely.
Make me believe.
I'm going to do my best. Another Dybbuk story type deal. That one freaked you out.
Oh my gosh. I don't even want to be in the same room as one of those boxes things. I'm still looking around like, do we have one?
Speaking of that, the movie that we mentioned in that episode, we went and watched after we recorded.
We did.
And it was really a good movie.
It was scary.
It was. So if you're listening to this and you're wanting to watch something good and scary, it was made in 2012 called The Possession. Mm-hmm. So go check it out. I believe we watched it on Tubi or...
I don't remember that part.
I don't either. So real quick, just wanted to say thank you guys for listening. Thank you for following us. You can catch us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music.
Audible.
I didn't know
Crazy.
that it showed up today. Also, we are now on Radio Public. So you can either find that in your app store or at radiopublic.com. And we have a Facebook page, Hard Lessons, a True Crime Paranormal Podcast. Come follow us there. We hope y'all have a good week, and we'll be back next week with a paranormal story.
All righty. Thank you, guys. Class is dismissed.